My name is Wilton Boyd. Most people call me Tink. A lot of people don't even know my real name. But we started off in high school, and at that time we was the Flames. But later on we changed our name when James Brown broke out with his Flames. We didn't want no trouble out of that down the road, but we found out that we didn't have to change our name. We could have still stayed the Flames. So we stuck with that. And when we went to Vee-Jay Records to record, they changed our name to the Magnificents. At that time, I didn't think that was such a good idea because there was already a group in the Magnificents. And they had hit records, and I think the biggest hit was Up on the Mountain. But they didn't tell us that. They didn't tell us they were going to change our name to after we recorded and signed the contract. So we went along with it. We cut our first record in March of '58, and Don't Leave Me in Ozeta was released in May of '58. So it done pretty good. We had some people out in California to inform me that the record was doing good on both sides. That side it hit. But Vee-Jay never told us nothing. But after that, about 3 weeks or so after the record was released, Vee-Jay Records called us and told us to learn Up on the Mountain and get choreography work done with it because we was going to Apollo Theater. Man, you talking about somebody that was happy. We did all that, man. Then they called us about a week later. No, it wasn't that long. About 3 or 4 days later, said, don't worry about it. We're going to send the Spaniards in your place. Man, it really hurt. But, we did the best we could with it. And other than that, that's the last time we heard from Vee-Jay Records. No kind of phone call or nothing. That was it. So we went on the best we could. We had a few engagements. And then in '60, I was in '58, and in '60 or '61, we started traveling with Goose Tatum and his basketball team. And Satchel Paige was also with him. He was a coach of the opposing team. So we traveled with them for 2 seasons, '60, '61, and '62. And we traveled all over the United States. Then there comes some difficulties with one member of the group, and Goose Tatum. He released him. So we picked up another guitar player in Chicago. So we come up with a Christmas vacation. It was about 2 weeks or maybe a week. And we all went home. And after we were home, about a week, Goose called me and told me to bring the guitar player back. And we said, okay. They couldn't get along for some reason, man. And so we brought him back. That was in December. We went back. And it wasn't long after that before them two got into it again. So we decided that since he was going to send the guitar player back home, we decided that we was going to stick together and we was going to come home too. And Goose asked me, said, I don't see how y'all going to let one man cause y'all to miss all this money. I said, well, Goose, I don't know what kind of difficulty. The guitar player name was Larry. I said, I don't know what kind of difficulty you and Larry have. I said, but we're going to stick together as a group. We're going home. Man, when we went down to the station to get our tickets, we went to the Greyhound. We get our tickets. Larry didn't go. He went to the train station, bought him a ticket to Georgia. Didn't tell us nothing, man. And boy, that hurt us so bad. but wasn't nothing we could do about it. So we disbanded for a while. Then we finally got back together and did a lot more singing, a lot more engagements. We did pretty good, man, you know. So we never, we cut another record in Detroit. That name of that company was GT Records, and the GT stood for Dennis Talley. That was our owner's name. We cut one record, one side, two sides, but nothing become of that. You know, he was trying to be very gaudy wannabe, you know. And this dude didn't have eye water to cry with, man. He didn't have nothing, you know. So that didn't last long. That was the end of that record, the end of that company, you know. And we just kept on singing and traveling, doing a lot of local stuff, in state, out of state, you know. But eventually, you know, we just disbanded, you know. And we've been broke up now for about 2 years. And since then, Jack, three of the guys out of the group passed. So only singing I'm doing, I'm in the choir at church, you know. But if I had a chance to get with another group that was for real, and when all that bull, I would sing, you know, even at this age, you know, because I love to sing. I've been singing, man, this since I was in the 4th grade, I think. And I developed a heavy voice at a young age, you know. And I've been a bass boy, I would say, all my life, you know. Every now and then I can do a little baritone and second tenor and some falsetto, you know. But bass is my thing, you know. So, you know, I still miss it, man, and I miss those guys terribly, you know. But that's the way it goes. And that's about it, you know.
So I guess you mentioned that you started singing when you were in about 4th grade?
Yeah. Yeah, we had a little group in the 4th grade. I think it was 4 of us, you know. We were singing old songs like Old MacDonald, Down by the Riverside and all that, you know. But as we grew, you know, we finally formed another group in school. As a matter of fact, this group here, we formed that group in '53 in school, high school, you know.
The Flames?
Yeah. And man, we got popular right away, you know. Just about all the schools was calling us to come sing on their pep rallies and stuff in high school, man, you know. And we got very popular, man. It wasn't long for every time you turn around, somebody had a group. People were harmonizing and stuff at school, you know. But it was a lot of fun, man, but I miss it. I miss it terribly, man, you know. That's why I loved it.
With the group The Flames, how did you guys kind of like decide, oh yeah, let's start singing together?
Well, 3 of us was always harmonizing together anyway, you know. Excuse me. Then we decided to just get a group. And after they found the word got around, we was gonna form a group. A lot of guys wanted to get in the group, but man, we only wanted people that could sing, and you know, we didn't have to show a whole lot of stuff too, you know. So we did pretty good, man. We did good, yeah.
And I guess when you formed this group, like, who would you say was your biggest influences?
Was our biggest what?
Influences. Like, which groups did you like idolize?
Oh man, back in those days, people like Five Royals, the Clovers, James Brown, but he wasn't popular when we started, you know. But there was a lot of groups, man. Five Royals, the Clovers, Sonny Till and the Oreos, Dominoes. It was a lot, man, you know. And we could just about imitate them all, man, you know. Y'all sound better than the original group. I said, oh, yeah, well, okay, thank you.
guess with the Flames, did you guys do any original work, or was it mainly just covers?
No, we didn't. We wrote a couple of songs. Matter of fact, I wrote a couple of songs myself. But no, we never did record none of those songs, you know. Excuse me.
Yeah. So I guess you're with the Flames, right? And then you hear about this other group, James Brown and the Famous Flames.
Mm-hmm.
Is that when you became the Five Wonders? Or when does the Wonders come in?
The Wonders came in after we start doing a lot of engagements out of town, you know. And we didn't want to use that name, the Flames, because we didn't want nobody to think we was trying to fake them out, you know. So we changed our name to the Five Wonders. Yeah, it worked out good, you know.
So when you for the Flames and the Five Wonders, were they the same guys or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we found. No, because some of those guys had left town. And we got guys, local guys, like one of them was my brother. He could sing. Then we had another dude named George Flowers, who used to be the fire chief here until he retired, you know. And then George got drafted. And before we got with Goose Tatum, that's when we pulled my brother in, you know. And George was stationed down in Fort Knox, Kentucky at that time. And it just so happens that we had to go to Fort Knox and play basketball, you know. And see, the way we got with Goose Tatum is he needed a halftime show. He had a group of ink spots. So we had to take over that name, you know. We went to Fort Knox, and we were talking to the general that's in charge down in Fort Knox, and excuse me, and we asked him, did he know George Flowers? He said, oh yeah, I know George. I said, is there any way possible you can get him down here today? Because he's a part of this group until you snatched him up, you know. He said, oh yeah, I'll get him. I said, now don't tell him what you're getting him for. So, seeing at that time, I had already started playing basketball with Goose Tatum, you know. And I played, and at the end of the second quarter, I would leave the floor and go get dressed to do the singing, you know. We come out there, man, and we surprised George. He didn't know we was there. We surprised him, we called him up. And man, he was so happy, you know. And I think he did 3 songs with us. And man, all them soldiers and stuff, they really went for it, you know, because they didn't know George could sing, you know. And we had a nice time, man. Yeah, it was going pretty good until all this other stuff come up. This guitar player and the group, you know. We was out in Minnesota. About this time of year, it was cold, man. See, we started off, when we left for the first trip, we were stationed, our headquarters was in Chicago, and our first engagement was Fargo, North Dakota. And it was fun, man, you know, it was fun, because singing's always fun to me, as long as things is going okay, you know. But we did good, man.
I guess quickly going back to the Five Wonders real quick. Did you have a manager at that time?
Yeah, the manager at that time, we had 2 or 3 managers, but at that time we had a manager named Leonard Fry. And he was with us when we went to, excuse me, he was with us when we went to, we had to go to Gary because Vee-Jay had a record shop in Gary. And that's where we went.
Is that how you kind of found out?
Yeah, it's a guy in this picture. At that time, he was living in Gary. He had left the group and was living in Gary, you know. And he told us about the shop and the people that owned it. Vivian Carter, that was Vee-Jay, And we went to the record shop, man, and told them what we wanted, and they asked us to sing a couple of songs. And it went all right. They wanted us soon, they heard us. But
How soon after did you record?
the next week, they want us to come back. This was like I don't know, it was on a Monday or Tuesday. But when they asked us where we was from, we told them we was from Evansville, Indiana. But they misunderstood us and thought we said Evanston, Illinois, which is not too far from Chicago. He said, well, if y'all can come back. I think they said Thursday or something. It's like Monday or Tuesday. We can record it. I said, no, man, we can't do that. I said, we got to go home and get ready. Well, you're right here at us. I said, no. He said, where y'all from? I said, Evansville, Indiana. He said, oh, we misunderstood you. So we come back home, man, and got ready, which it didn't take much to get ready. We already knew our songs, man. And we went back. And we spent time, a couple of days with the Spaniels, because they was recording for their appointment at the record company, and we were too, and we was there the same day. They recorded their songs before we did, and then
Do you remember what they were recording?
Yeah, I'll never forget it.
How was that experience, just walking into the studio and you just see the Spaniels recording?
Well, see, the day before that, we was all together at another place practicing, and it was something, man, because the Spaniels was one of our idol groups. We could sing almost everything. Anyway, the recording session was just nice, man. It was beautiful, good experience, And
You recorded 4 songs at that session, right? How long were you there for? Do you remember how many takes you had for each song?
Well, I'll tell you what, it wasn't too many takes, so we had the songs perfect, and the band was already hip to them songs, it didn't take them long to get hip to them, And man, we recorded that last song, boy, they come out of that control room, just excited, because it went so smooth and it sounded so good, Then they put it on us. Well, we're going to change our name to the Magnificents. And me and my group kind of looked at one another because we know there's already a group called the Magnificents. So we just, on the way home, we were discussing this. And so maybe the group is broke up and Vee-Jay owned that name and they gave the name to us. I don't know if that was the occasion or not, but we never heard nothing about the other group, But we didn't like it, man. We didn't like changing our names in a situation like that,
Especially you guys didn't have any control over that.
Nope. But, things just didn't work out for Vee-Jay, Like I said a while ago, when they told us they couldn't go to the Apollo Theater, that really did it for us, man. We didn't stop singing, but it just broke our heart, man. We kind of figured if we'd have made the Apollo, it would have been a good experience for us. Could have been on our way,
If you played the Apollo, you made it, That's...
Yeah, I know, man. I know. We had a lot of disappointments, man. We had a guy, we was singing around here in different places, in Kentucky, Illinois, and Naptown, And there was a guy in Indianapolis. He was a entertainment editor for the Chicago Defender. It was a black paper. Excuse me. And he got in contact with a guy named, I can't call his name, he was in New York. And he called that guy and told that guy about us. Well, that guy called me. And he wanted us to come to Chicago. See, what's the name of that big, it's an entertainment, something like the stadium. I can't even call the name of the place. Anyway, I said, yeah, it'd be nice. I said, I get in contact with the band and stuff, see what they can do. He said, no. So you won't need no band. You're going to be backed up by a symphony orchestra. See, and that what we were supposed to do when we got there would be an opening act for the Dells. And I said, oh man, okay. Now here come another breakdown. He said, all you need is your sheet music for your songs. We didn't have no sheet music.
It's all up here.
And didn't have nobody we knew of in such a short time that could write out sheet music for us. So that blowed that. We just had all kind of disappointments, man, you know. I forget the name of that big place. It's on, I can't think right now. Boy, we wanted that so bad, you know.
Yeah, opening act for the Dells.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So at this time, were you guys all still the same group? Did anyone break off, or did someone join in, or?
No, not after that. Not until George got drafted, one we was talking about a while ago. But we stayed together pretty much, you know.
So,
We didn't have that guitar player, cause after he went and ghosted with his girlfriend or something in Georgia, you know, we didn't fool with him no more, you know.
So quickly going back, I forgot to ask, but on the recording session for Vee-Jay, who was the members, and what voice parts did they sing?
When you talking about the group?
Yeah.
Well, right now I was the bass singer. The rest of them guys was tenors, baritones, first tenor, and lead singer. Those guys, most of those guys were versatile. And as a matter of fact, we all was versatile, because I could also sing baritone, and sometimes I go to second tenor. And there was some songs that we was singing at shows. Sometimes I'd be singing first tenor, falsetto, you know. But you couldn't tell it because I could always sing falsetto just like I could sing bass, you know. So, man, I hate to keep saying the same thing, but we had a good group. We had a group, man. I'm talking about guys could sing, man, you know.
You guys were like this.
Yes, yeah. And we were the kind of group, man, we wouldn't go nowhere and sing less than the harmony was right. You know, I mean, it had to be close, you know.
Nice and tight, yeah.
And we had a saying, me and George had a saying, once we got that harmony tight like we wanted it, we'd go back over it and fine tune it, you know.
So who were the members of the group? It was you, right, and
At that time?
yeah.
Or when we cut the record?
When you cut the record, and then I guess kind of afterwards.
Okay, when we cut that record, it was me, Jack Nance was the lead singer. We had George Flowers, Paul Boyd, which was my brother, and Ed Hathaway. Now those last three guys I called are gone. My brother, Jack and Paul died 4 months apart, man. And then CGR got drafted. And then that was Ed, you know. So Jack, Ed, and myself. Okay, and we had Paul. We just went on sung with the four. But then Paul left the group, you know, for some reason. And we picked up another boy named John Eddie. He was a falsetto singer, you know. We done good, man, you know.
So there's I guess some of the things that I've read, there's this other guy named Leslie Reed.
Leslie Reed, yeah. He was in the group when we cut that record. You know, the first record with Vee-Jay, you know. Now, George was still with us when we went to Gary and auditioned, you know. But that next week, he couldn't make it back for the recording session on account of his job, because he had taken off to go to Gary for the audition. And he had conflict trying to get off to go back to cut. That's when we got my brother Paul. Worked out just fine, And Paul and Ed, when we left high school, they formed a group themselves in high school after we graduated. They were the Mercury's, and they was tough too, So we ended up, them two was in the group with us,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess singing with those guys, it was pretty common for, a bunch of groups to
Yeah.
pop up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Did you have any rival groups that you guys used to, battle of the groups? Or,
No, not here.
yeah.
Mm-mm. Well, like I said, we was good. A lot of people didn't want to fool with us because we was that good,
Everyone looked up to you guys?
Right, right. And a lot of them guys in different groups, they would come ask us our advice on certain situations, and we felt good giving them advice. We're thankful that they were looking up to us like that,
Do you remember what other groups there were during that time?
No. I don't remember their names or nothing, what they call themselves. I don't remember that,
It's pretty cool to think though that, you guys were that high of status.
Yeah.
People came to you for advice.
Yeah.
It showed how good you guys were.
Yeah, we was, I keep saying it, but we was tough, man. We was tough. We had been on shows with a lot of other groups that was already making it, And they would come and say, man, you guys are tough.
Do you remember those shows, like who you performed with and where?
Well, we sung here with some guys that, they used to have shows here all the time. The Falcons out of Detroit. I Found the Love. You probably remember that song. And at that time, Wilson Pickett was in that group, and he the one was leading. He was the lead singer in that group, and he went off on his own, Then we was with, I think we was with Jed Butler in the Impressions one time on the show. And see, I don't mean to be changing the subject, but when we went to Vee-Jay, Vee-Jay had more groups like Motown did. See, Vee-Jay, there was the Magnificents, there was the Spaniards, there was the Dells. They had a group called the Eldorados. See, the Eldorados had a song, it was a hit, named My Lovin' Baby. Well, Jack was going with a girl by the name of Ozeta, and he was crazy about her. And one day he was talking to Ozeta while we was practicing. We was at a practice, and we was practicing on My Lovin' Baby because we was gonna sing it on a talent show up at school, But when he got to talking to that girl, we started rehearsing again. Instead of him saying "My Lovin' Baby," he was saying "Ozeta, darling," and we cut it like that.
The story of Ozeta has always been a mystery to people because it's like they've never heard of anyone named Ozeta.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people have asked us after that, who is Ozeta? We wouldn't tell them. Also, that's all somebody we know, They probably think anybody, 2 or 3 others in the group went the same girl, Yeah, we got a lot of laughs about that song, Ozeta,
I guess on that subject of Ozeta, did you help write those songs, like "Don't Leave Me," "Rosebud," and?
Oh, yeah, we wrote those songs ourselves, Now, Rosebud never was released. I've heard it before because we found a program that was playing oldies but goodies, and somebody else heard it, and they called me. Said they playing y'all record, Rosebud. And I found that station, man. I almost cried hearing that song because it never was released, man, Matter of fact, Vee-Jay didn't release nothing but Don't Leave Me and Ozeta because they was on the flip side of one another. But them other records, they never released them,
It's surprising. They actually did release the Cha-Cha side.
Yeah.
In 1960 as the flip side of Going Up the Mountain.
No.
It was a throwaway side, as they said. They released it on a 45 and.
I got that.
Yeah.
I got that record. it's it's supposed to be Rosebud on the flip side of Let's Do the Cha-Cha. But they put, what they put on the flip side, and matter of fact, it was a DJ copy. Let's Do the Cha-Cha. And Rosebud was supposed to be on the flip side, you know. And a cousin of mine, he got that record for me, and I just know, you know, I was glad to get Ozeta. I mean, Rosebud, but Rosebud wasn't on it. It was Let's Do the Cha-Cha, you know. And I don't know if it was Don't Leave Me or what on the other side of the record, but it was a DJ copy, you know. But it never got released, man. I tried to, I went to Chicago and tried to find it, them record shops that deal with oldies but goodies and all that, you know, but never could get Rosebud, you know. So we just had some bad, you know, and another thing, we didn't have the backing that we needed, somebody out front, you know, we had some 2 or 3 managers, but they did the best they could, but we didn't actually have nobody run out there for us, you know. So we tried to do all that by ourselves, you know.
Is that how you guys got most of your shows?
Hmm?
Is that how you guys got most of your shows?
Yeah.
Doing that?
Yeah. Yeah, and then some of those guys, we had a couple of managers that would book them shows. I mean, go out and get the bookings for us, you know. But, you know, we just did the best we could and just kept singing, you know, because we all loved it, you know.
And after, you know, after you played as the halftime shows, and then you guys eventually left that, and your guitar player went to Georgia. Did you guys keep doing shows in the area?
Yeah. Yeah, the group didn't break up. He just left. We just got somebody else.
Did you go as the Ink Spots, or did you go back
No,
to
we
Magnificents?
left. When we left Goose Tater, we left Ink Spots. We left that name, you know. And we come back to, let's see, did we come back to as the Five Wonders? I don't know, because after we went out as the Magnificents. After we cut them records, and right today, if they was here, we still be the Magnificents, you know. We was better known as the Magnificents, you know. We didn't try to fool with things. See, what we had to do, we had to learn Ink Spot songs, because it was a halftime entertainment, you know. And I was singing and playing ball, too. But after the first quarter, I had to leave the floor, sweating, go in there and put on my tux and all that, you know. But I enjoyed it, man. I really did. Yeah. We had some guys on the team, a lot of them was from Detroit, and they just couldn't believe that we could sing like that, you know. They really enjoyed us, man. We had a couple of guys on there. It was twins, a set of twins on there, and they recorded in Detroit. I can't remember what the name of the group, but they were a set of twins, man. And one of them was a bass. Boy, when that boy heard my bass voice, man, he had a fit. Man, this dude is tough, man. Yeah, we had a lot of fun, man, you know, a lot of heartbreaks too, you know. But that's just about any group, you know.
It's
Yeah.
like a common story is that, you know, these groups, they make a record or two, and then they just kind of fizzle out. But it seems like you guys made those records, and then you guys did pretty well overall. Like
Yeah, we kept saying we didn't let those disappointments stop us, you know.
It's the love of the music. Yeah.
Yeah, we all just loved it, man, you know. Yeah, I wish I was still doing it.
Yeah.
I love the same, man.
And you guys kept singing throughout I guess the 60s, the 70s,
Oh, yeah.
80s, and then you said you just broke up a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah, man, we was getting bookings right here in the city, man, you know. And people just loved us, man, you know. Yeah, man, we want to hear Tink, man. See, my name's Tink, you know. They're crazy about Tink and that bass voice, you know. Yeah, we sung a lot of songs, man, after different groups, you know, the Temps and all that, man, you know. Yeah, we was good, man. We could imitate anybody, just about, you know. Cause in the group, you got 3 and 4 leaders. This group here, everybody in that group was a lead singer, except me. At that time, I wasn't doing much leading. I was just bass back, and just loved it, man. And we impressed a lot of people, man. They'd come up at. We got a letter up at school one day, and when that letter came, we was in choir practice, school choir, and this girl come from the office and said, the director name was Porter, Mr. Porter. Said, Mr. Porter, here's a letter that come for you. And he looked at this letter, and it says, the Flames, in care of Lincoln High School Music Department. And he looked at them and said, who is the Flames? And all them girls, there they sat right there, all of them. I think it kind of pissed him off because he wasn't hip to it, And see, they wanted us, they sent for us to come to Santa Claus Land to sing our banquet, So, that people was after us, man, like I say, all these schools were wanting us to come to their pep rallies and stuff,
How many like pep rallies and assemblies do you guys end up singing? Do you remember? I bet a bunch, right?
Well, about 3 or 4, because all the schools didn't ask for us, There was a couple of one school they didn't have black students,
It's still pretty impressive that they asked
Yeah.
you guys to perform.
Yeah.
A lot of groups, they would have to ask and
Yeah.
ask. You guys were just so good that they wanted you guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was good, man. It was nice, and we enjoyed it, especially when the schools come and ask for us and stuff, Would we do this? Would we do that? And we never said no. Never. We were glad to do it, Yeah, man, I wish I was still doing it too. While I still got the voice,
Well, just your talking voice. You have a great bass.
Yeah.
On the beginning of Don't Leave Me, was that you singing the intro?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. A lot of people have heard the record and said, man, is that y'all? And I said, yeah. What is that you starting? I said, yeah, it is.
It's as soon as that start, it's like,
Yeah.
that grabs you. It's such a good.
Yeah.
And I guess, quickly going back to those 4 songs you recorded, which one did you like the most? Like, which one would you say was your favorite, if you had to pick one?
Yeah. That's hard to do, man, because we loved them all, but I believe Don't Leave Me. And if I had to pick a second one, it would be Rosebud, because the harmony and stuff is so great on it, But we loved them all, man, because it was our song. We wrote them, except we just changed the name from My Loving Baby to Ozeta, darling, Yeah, we loved them all, man, and people loved them, We wouldn't tell people who Ozeta was, but
just someone you know.
Yeah, that's what I told. That's a friend of ours,
It was a great story. It's
Yeah.
cool that, your lead at the time just changed the words.
Yeah. Yeah, we had some good experiences, man, especially traveling, We sung at halftime, and after the game stuff was over, man, people crowding looking for us, wanting autographs and stuff, Because one woman told us, man, we had to laugh. We was in, I don't know where we were. I don't know if we were still in North Dakota or what. But anyway, we were signing autographs, the ink spots. And I heard this lady tell the lead singer, oh, you haven't changed. You sound just like you did when I saw you 30 years ago. I said, damn, 30 years ago. But we sound so much alike, especially the bass, because the bass is always talking in just about every song,
Honey Child.
Yeah, yeah, Honey Child.
So your lead singer sounded just like Bill Kenny?
Oh, yeah, Jack, yeah.
Wow.
That's what that woman said. You sound the same as you did 30 years ago.
That's really cool. It shows that, you guys were so versatile.
Yeah, we
you could go from
were.
singing that 30s, sweet
Yeah.
harmony versus that great, like, classic R&B stuff.
Yeah. And a lot of them was just waiting for that talking part by the bass, And I can, Honey Child, I still love you like I did 20 years ago. Yeah, just something I love to do. But I love to use that voice, it was given to me, And then after the group finally broke up a few years ago, I was, man, I was just singing around the house and stuff. And my wife told me, said, Tink, said, since you want to sing so bad, why don't you just go back and start singing in church? That's where you started. And I finally made up my mind to do that. I went to church, got in the choir, and they loved that bass voice, because a lot of that stuff I'll be putting that rock and roll bass in it, to cover up a lot of open spots. I was used to doing that. You didn't want no spot open when you didn't hear nothing, no singing, no voice, And then the church members, they loved it, And then we go to other churches and stuff and sing, it's the same thing, So you guys are great. So that bass is something else.
That's pretty cool. At least you're still singing, for sure.
Yeah. And just love to sing, man. Yeah, see, I was singing in church anyway when I started off, Most of them guys were singing in the church choir at their churches, Did none of us in this group here, did none of us go to the same church, The church I belonged to, my mother and father was in that church, And they were singing. My father was in the choir, and my mother was in a singing group called Five Roses of Harmony. And every member in that group was a member of the church, and they sung in church choir, So I kind of got it honest, I used to be around the house when they practice and stuff,
I bet that probably helped blossom your love for music.
Yeah, yeah.
Did your mom ever record with that group, or they just?
No, they didn't record. My mother passed when she was 28 years old, and I was old. It was five of us boys, and I was the oldest at that time, 11, But I was already singing, in school and stuff, Yeah, it was five brothers, man. I was the oldest at that time, at 11 years old. Matter of fact, I got a birthday next month, 19th. Don't seem like it, man, but I'll be 88 years old. A lot of people don't believe it, So when I turned 80, the lady at the church, she was in the choir too, was passing out certificates to senior citizens. And I was sitting up in the choir box, and another guy, he sang in the choir, was sitting beside me. Well, this lady that was passing them out, she had to get by us when she was finished to get to her seat. So this guy sitting next to me, he's a minister too. And I said this loud enough for this lady to hear it. I said, Reverend Presley, I said, how old you have to be before you're a senior citizen? And this lady, I said this loud enough for her to hear. She turned around and come back. Said, Tink, how old are you? I said, I'm 80 years old. Oh, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Sitting up in the choir line like that. You ain't no 80 years old. I said, ma'am, if you could be at my house when I get up in the morning and see how I'll be walking to the bathroom, you know that I'm 80 years old. Walking like you got bad feet, try to hurry up and stuff. So now I'll be 88 next month. And I really appreciate my age, man, I still have the voice, People don't believe I'm 80 years old, or 80 now, getting it to be 88, So you just don't look it. Well, see, I never did punish my body too much. I didn't get on drugs and all that stuff. Nothing like. I used to drink a little bit, but I finally quit that. So I'm in pretty fair shape, to be 88 years old. See, I was a great, well, I won't say great, but I was a pretty good athlete in school. I ran track, high hurdle, low hurdle, long jump, relays. And I played basketball all year round, since I've been retired from work. I used to go to the center and play basketball just about every morning. At that time, my wife was working over there, and I'd go over and play. And a lot of them young kids, well, not kids, but young men would come over there for their exercise and stuff, and I'd be playing with them. He said, "How old are you?" I said, "Man, I'm 70-something years." "Oh, no, you ain't no 70-something playing like that." I said, "Well, I'm doing pretty good." Yeah. Man, I'm going to tell you a little story, man. When we got with Goose Tatum, he come up short some players, 'cause if you mess up with him, he'd fire you in a minute, man. So one day, we was going, how was we going? We were going to play somewhere over in Kentucky. And he come to us and he said, "Which one of y'all can play basketball? The best basketball player?" At that time, they all pointed to me. He said, "You want to play with me tonight?" I said, "Yeah." So he stopped on the road at a store, sporting goods store, and bought me some shoes, but he already had the uniforms. So he gave me a uniform, and I played it. I played against him. I played with the opposing team. And I done so good, I went up for a rebound, and one of the twins I was telling you about, I seen them coming down the floor. I said, "Now, if I go up at this shot, I know they're going to block it." So I faked them, and I stepped out on the floor and shot a hook. Well, a hook shot was Goose Tatum's favorite shot. He was known for that hook shot. And and going back down the floor, he went up and caught with me. He said, "Tink, are you a singer or a basketball player? Which one are you?" And he ran on down the floor laughing. So after that game was over, he said, "Tomorrow night, you going to be on my side." So I ended up playing with him all that year, the next year too. Had a lot of fun, man.
It's pretty funny too that you're playing basketball and then you have to rush back, change,
Right.
still sweaty, and then sing,
Yeah.
and then go back to playing.
Yeah. But when you're young, you do a lot of things. Yeah. Yeah, it was nice, man. I would like to still be doing it. I probably couldn't travel much now. I got some health issues. People have been lying to us all these years about the golden years. But we still here, man. Still here. I feel good about my age. I feel good just to still be here, man. A lot of people don't realize how well blessed they are. That's a big thing, man. But anyway, I enjoy it, man. I'm trying to enjoy life the best I can. I got a wife that me and her have been together right now over 60 years.
Congratulations!
Yeah, we started going together when she was 19, and we still here. A lot of people ask me, man, I said, how do y'all manage to stay together this long? I said, well, we had a secret. I said, since she and I both is in our 80s, I'm going to tell you what the secret still is. I said, every day, you and your wife have got to find something to argue about. Every day. And they started looking at me. I said, and twice on Saturdays. I said, on Sunday, then you go to church. I said, Monday morning, start all over again. Yeah, man, I done had a lot of fun in life, man, with all the sports I was doing in high school and all the singing and other stuff. I tried to live a good life. I used to drink very little, but I finally quit. Because normally, man, when I was drinking, I was just forcing it to be with the crowd and all that. Every now and then now, I have a beer or something. You know, I know this ain't got nothing to do with singing, but I bought some beer Christmas. I bought an 18-pack of Budweiser. That's what I drink, Budweiser. And that beer is still there. Still, I don't drink it like I used to. In the summertime, I drink a beer after I be to cut grass or something like that. But as far as just drink, I can't handle it, man. I lost the taste for it. Now I can't wait to get it. I ain't drank nothing since I've been on this metal. Well, I ain't drank nothing, period. I don't drink no liquor nowhere. I just drink a beer every now and then. I can, if I was drinking, I could drink 2 beers and start talking trash. Yeah, yeah, I drank a little bit. I couldn't handle it. I quit smoking. I started doing everything but lying. They still tell you, say, boy, you still ain't got no sense. When I was in school, man, I was kind of a Charlie Brown and Dennis the Menace. I was always doing something, for fun, full of jokes on people, man. Yeah, I had a lot of people that was really liked me a lot, man, because I was easy to get along with. I was always cracking jokes, laughing and carrying on. I just, I was trying to treat everybody right. That's what my parents was instilling in me and my brothers. Treat everybody right. Don't mistreat nobody. If they do something, you love them anyway. So I tried to stick with that. I never was in no trouble or nothing like that. And my parents are gone. I told you my mother passed, and she was 28. And my father passed. He just had turned 61. And here I am, almost 88. But I tried to do right, man. I didn't get in all that trouble and stuff, man.
Taking care of your body, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was doing, taking care of their body. But now, see, I used to eat a lot, man. But see, where I got this because I was eating and I wouldn't exercise. So I'm gonna try to start back to exercise. And that was a New Year's resolution I made to myself. I never told nobody, and I just try to stick with it and get my weight back down. I got clothes at home I can't wear, and I ain't buying no more. I ain't planning on it. Yeah, man, I feel good as far as still being here. This world is in such a bad shape, boy. All this fighting and killing and hatred. And these children, man, it's just pitiful. All these shootings in school and stuff, man. But the world done changed, man, in more ways than one. And now we got that criminal in the White House. And he hiring criminals. So we have to do the best we can. I tell a lot of people, the only thing we got going for us is prayer.
We gotta persevere, yeah.
And just keep praying. I said that's one thing you got that can't take away from it is prayer, and love. Yeah.
Well,
But
I appreciate you sitting down and talking about your groups.
yeah, man, I could talk all day about them groups, man. Guys we had singing, man.
Do you have any other stories that you want to share about them that I forgot to ask her?
Let me see. Let's see when I get home, everything be popping up in my mind. You should have told them, you should have told this. But the one thing, man, I hate is I forgot to bring an album with all them pictures in it, I got pictures in there. nightclub up the street here, man. They booked us all the time, you know. Standing room only, man, you know. Just, see, I get thinking about this stuff, man. I get teary-eyed, you know, because I loved it, man, I'm telling you. Yeah. This guy, one guy on this picture, he, when I told you that moved to Gary and was telling us about Vee-Jay records and stuff, he moved to Africa a few years back. He was in some kind of organization, and he came over to the house, and he said, man, said, we going to Africa. When he said we, he was talking about the organization he was in, you know. Man, I want you and your wife to go with me, man, to Africa. I looked at him, I said, Africa? Man, I ain't going to Africa. What's wrong with you? Well, he went on over there, and he met this lady over there. And I guess they fell in love, because when he came back, at that time he was living in Dallas, Texas, you know, but he was here on vacation one day. Man, he come back, he sold his home, his car, and everything else he could sell, and moved over there. He went over and said, I'm going back to Africa to get my queen. So he went over and married this woman. But he done been back since then, and to visit me. And he was calling this woman every day on his cell phone. And they was talking, man. He'd have her on talking loud so I can hear it. She'd come, well, let me talk to Wilton. Let me talk to Wilton. So I talked to her. But I haven't heard him. He called me about 6 months ago, and he was supposed to give me the information where I could call and get hold of him. Because when he called me that first time, I tried to get hold of him with the number that was on the phone, and it wouldn't go through. So evidently there's probably 2 or 3 different ways you got to call in order for the call to go through, you know. So I'm just waiting for him to call, man. But he had a voice. Well, all them dudes in the group had a voice, man. This dude had a voice, man. Let me see, who can I say he sound like? Well, he could sound like anybody, you know. But we sung a lot of songs about the 5 Satins and all that stuff, and he could handle it, man. Of course, he could handle anything he sung, you know. Blue Velvet by the Clovers, that was one of his favorites, man. Rosebud, as a matter of fact, he's the one that wrote Rosebud. You know. His name's Archie Walker. His nickname was Bud. Everybody called him Bud, you know. And man, like I said, man, I miss all them guys, man, I'm telling you. I miss that group so bad, man. And like I said, this group here, when we started, everybody in that group was a lead singer. We didn't have no problem trying to learn a song. If they wanted to sing a song, they come up, man, let's learn something. Bam, we can get on it, you know. Just that simple, you know. But all good things come to an end, man, you know. It hurts me, because I would still like to be singing in a group, you know. Well, we had a little gospel group not too long ago. And I ain't gonna say this because we on camera, man. But that was the worst group I ever been in. As for dedication and cooperation and stuff, you know. Had lead singers wouldn't learn new songs, man, you know. And they had one, we got hold of a guy later on, he was a minister, and he was the worst one in the group. He wanted everything his way, you know. And I think he wanted to be a David Ruffin or something, you know. Man, I'm the one that got y'all where you at today. I said, man, how come you won't sit? I said, we was a group before you come in here. We had a big meeting one day at church, because we was rehearsing at that time, you know. So, and we got to talking on that subject. He said, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go outside and smoke a cigarette. When I come back, y'all tell me what you want to do. See, he wanted the name change, Reverend Collins and the Golden Tones, you know. And on his way out, one of the guys in the group said, ain't no need you going out there. It's going to be the same when you come back. You went out there anyway. And he came back with 2 and said, man, we ain't gonna change his name. You know what? And the dude was my cousin. I'm the one went and got him because I knew he could sing and I knew he sang nothing but gospel, you know. But I didn't know about all this other stuff he was doing, man. You know, wanting to be this, wanting to be that, you know. So Ed told one in the group named me, said, well, I'll tell you right now, David, Robert, we ain't gonna change our name. And he finally quit.
So that's
But
probably the nice thing about the Magnificents is that you guys all, you know, you guys had that like agreement that you
yeah,
flexibility and then understanding that.
yeah, the Magnificents, we all wanted the same thing. You know, that's why we were singing, because we wanted the same
Sing
thing,
the
you
same,
know.
yeah.
But we just never got the big break, man, you know. Had so many promises and so many lies, you know. People gonna do this, people gonna do that. It got so, they tell us we wouldn't pay them no attention, we just listened to them, you know. Been down that road so many times, you know. But one thing I can say, we kept trying, you know, kept trying. And finally we just disbanded about 2 or 3 years ago. And the three dudes that were still in the group, all those, them 3 dudes are gone. Nobody left but me, man, you know. Jack gone, the Ed gone, and that falsetto dude, John, they all 3 gone. Nobody left but me, man, you know. And of course, like I said, if I could get hold of somebody that would really want to be dedicated and sing, I'd be right there with them, you know. But I had fun while we were doing it, you know. I don't regret it. All the disappointment and the letdown, I don't regret it, you know, because I kept trying. We didn't, oh man. Yep,
Well, thank you again for sitting down and talking about your groups.
yeah,
And it's been so cool learning about the
yeah,
Don't Leave Me Magnificents.
yeah.
Is there anything you want to say to the people that are going to watch this and you want them to remember about you guys?
Well, I wanted them to know that this particular group was very dedicated to singing. They loved to sing, man, you know. You know, we all had the same idea, the same feeling. That's why we kept trying. We wouldn't quit, you know. We figured one day we might get that break. But when we didn't, we still didn't quit. You know, we just kept right on. Till it finally had to come to an end, you know. And I want people to know that I still enjoy singing. You know, I'm in church now singing, quite naturally singing bass, you know. But I love it, man. I still love it. If I had the opportunity, I'd try it again, you know. Yes, sir.
Well, thank you.
I appreciate it. Appreciate your time, man.